Everybody, welcome to A&J's Kitchen, and after that delicious meal I'm going to teach you all how to make something nice and sweet that's not processed if you're a chocolate lover like me. So I'm going to make fudge. Now I'm using a recipe that's using 1 cup of all the ingredients, or you could use half a cup of all the ingredients depending on how much you like. Being a chocolate lover, I like more. So I have a whisk for mixing. I have a spoon for general purposes, a knife as well, and I have a little stirry thingy.
It's a spatula.
Spatula, I wasn't sure if that was the right name.
Stirry thingy I don't believe is a technical term.
Well, I'm being funny, so man. Now, let's get started. So, this is a cacao powder, and we want to try Dutch processed cacao powder next because apparently that's where all the good nutrients like zinc and fiber and other things that are in it. We haven't had any problems with this. We buy all of our ingredients in bulk. So I'm going to take a cup of this, like so. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit extra over. A little more chocolate never hurt anybody. Our maple syrup, which we get in bulk from your local bulk store. It's 1 cup.
Isn't maple syrup amazing?
Oh, I love it. And people say, oh, it's sugar, it's sugar. Well, it's actually quite a good sugar for you. And again, like anything in moderation, you know, try not to have sugary things at night, etc., whatever. And I'm just using a spoon here to get out of a little bit of maple syrup out of here. We use a lot of maple syrup in a lot of our recipes, actually, don't we, Althea?
I put maple syrup in everything.
And we got our coconut oil, which was also bought in bulk. It's about $20 for a 54-ounce jar. Don't we use that a lot as well?
I love coconut oil as a preconditioner for my very curly, kinky hair.
Yes.
So what I do with this coconut oil is I saturate every hair strand with the coconut oil, put it under a shower cap and sit for 30 minutes, and then I shampoo, condition, and deep condition as normal.
Well, maybe we could do a separate video on that, even though we're doing it for food, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are probably wondering about that.
I think that's an excellent idea. Coconut oil just has so many different uses. You can use it as a moisturizer, deodorant.
And we take it twice a day. It's antifungal. It helps with insulin levels. It helps with fat loss.
I find it gets rid of zits.
Yes, and it's a very good skin moisturizer as well, and a healing property. So back to that in a second. I'm using a separate spoon just so we don't contaminate things, even though things have been mixed in the same. You can use the same mixing spoon or mixing cup, but I prefer to use separate spoons. What do you think, Althea?
Yeah, that works for me.
That way, when you're dipping into the jar, you're not, putting in.
Yeah.
So you just put that in there like this. Get it all out. And we like to use almond butter. You can use cashew butter, sunflower butter, natural peanut butter. Natural peanut butter tends to be a little more cheaper, wouldn't you say, Althea?
It does, and plus it gives it that chocolate and peanut butter just go so well together that your fudge kind of tastes like a...
So here's our peanut butter, natural. It's crunchy, and we got it in bulk. Sorry, go ahead, Althea. It tastes like a...
Well, it gives you that classic chocolate peanut butter cup taste. So and plus there's already nuts in it, so it alleviates the need to add extra nuts to the recipe. We like
to add crunched walnuts to it. We don't have very many left today. We're just going to add what we have. But that's a very good point, Althea. And you're more than welcome to try different butters. The almond butter is actually quite good as well. But like I said, like what Thea was saying, The chocolate peanut butter, if you're a chocolate peanut butter nut like we are, it does the trick. So you get a cup in here. I usually do it over the thing so if any spills back in, it's not wasting any. And again, we use our trusty spoon, separate spoon.
Now, this is a double recipe.
Yes.
The original recipe calls for a half cup of all of these ingredients, but because Jason is feeling extra chocolatey tonight, we're doubling the recipe.
Exactly. And like I said, you can also use different cacao powders. Like I said, we're probably going to permanently switch to the Dutch chocolate, just because of what we've read recently. I mean, it's all about educating yourself on food, ingredients, how things are made, because whatever way the ingredient or food is made, however it's manufactured, you're eating that manufacturing process. Wouldn't you say, Althea?
Yes. It's almost nothing is sacred.
Exactly. So that's why we created this cooking channel, so we can teach you how to still make good things and make them, the way you want. And get this out of the way. And so you have our walnuts here. And we also like to put in Himalayan sea salt. It's pink, as you can see. It gives it an extra flavor.
The Himalayan sea salt, what it does is it enhances the flavor of the cacao. So depending on your tastes, you add the sea salt and adjust it so that it suits your taste. I find if you add just the right amount of sea salt or Himalayan salt, you really get a very sharp chocolate flavor that will satisfy any kind of sweet craving you might have.
Exactly. I'm going to add that after. So you can see I'm making a little bit of a mess here. So what you can do not to make sure you have all the ingredients. There's a bit of a mess. If you're not familiar with mixing, it can be a bit tricky at first. What you want to do is you always want to bang things out every so often. Push it right down to the bottom of the bowl and just put wrist oil into it.
You could also use a hand blender or a food processor if you want a really smooth and creamy texture. Now the peanut butter is going to add a bit more of a rustic texture. The almond butter will give you a very smooth fudge.
Yes. So you see I'm banging it out because some of it gets stuck. You don't want to waste that. One thing we don't recommend is letting your pets lick any of the bowls or anything after that. I used to have a dog, and our vet told us no chocolate for dogs. It's very toxic. And you always want to, if your kids want to cook, it's always good to supervise them. Isn't that right, Althea?
Well, this is a great recipe for kids because parents, you know exactly what has gone into this recipe. And the chocolate is sweet enough that they'll really get a kick out of the flavor, but you also have the satisfaction of knowing that you created something that's really good for them.
Exactly. And if you're somebody who, I will point out, that if you're somebody sensitive to caffeine, like I am, you don't want to OD on cacao powder.
No, it does have trace amounts of caffeine.
So I'm adding the salt.
Now, folks, the salt is to taste. So add your salt.
Would you say that's enough, Althea?
Yeah, that should be okay.
I'll mix it up and then I'll add a bit more.
Well, you have to taste it first, though.
So I will let Althea try this. There's a spoon here. How is that, Althea? Is that enough salt?
Just a hint more salt.
Alrighty.
You'll have to wash the spoon, though, or get another one.
Yeah, I'll probably get another one. We want to not contaminate things. Especially if you're giving your desserts to other people. I mean, it's kind of gross licking a spoon and then putting it back in for everyone else.
Yeah, that's not cool.
But if it's just the two of you or yourself, then who cares, I guess.
Well, we try to keep our kitchen as sanitary as possible.
And after we make our foods, we always clean everything. We have our own cleaning solutions that doesn't have chemicals in it. And yeah, we always sterilize everything, especially when we're cooking. So would you say that's about done?
That looks fantastic. I think I need another taste.
Okay, I will get another spoon for you. And it's a good thing you can help me clean.
Oh, hear that? I've been voluntold to clean.
How is that, Althea?
That is unbelievable.
Good.
Perfect amount of salt.
I will move this aside. And now for the limited walnuts we have. Now,
You could add any kind of nut you want.
yes, crushed cashews, pine nuts, anything.
Almonds are also really good in this if you're a fan of chocolate and almonds.
Yes, and this spatula is better once you mix the nuts in for obvious reasons. If you were to mix it with this, all the nuts would stick to the little arms of the whisk. So
elbow grease is required at this point.
Exactly. So now it's just a simple mixture. We have one rule in our house. Well, it's not really a rule, but whoever's the chef one particular night gets a night off from cleaning.
Oh, really?
But if you're cleaning not like I am, I always end up helping anyway sometimes.
Now, folks, if you truly wanted, you could probably just put this in a bowl and eat it.
Yeah, but
which would be kind of nice. I'm just saying.
Okay, now let's get a look at this consistency. This is what you want. Now, normally what we like to do, I'm just gonna get this going and then I'll put it in a bowl for you since you seem to have that sweet tooth craving right now. What we usually do, we take a container, something about this size, it doesn't have to be this exact shape. We put it into the container just like so. Trying not to get my fingers in it. It's a bit hard with this big bowl sometimes. Just make sure your hands, always wash your hands, guys, before you cook. You don't want people finding out, hey, you didn't wash your hands before you cooked my meal, you know, kind of gross. But as long as you don't touch the main ingredient that's going into the container, that's fine. So what we're going to do after this, we are going to put it in the freezer. Now, it'll take about 2 hours, and it'll harden up really hard like a brick.
Hey, save some for my bowl.
Oh, I will. Silly goose. So you see this here? That will harden up. And I'm just going to get a bowl here before she loses her mind. Guys, if you have a lady, certain time periods come along and they have a sweet tooth for chocolate, you can make them this treat. I know my lovely wife has a craving for chocolate.
Oh, that's plenty.
So there's a nice little pudding type of thing. And I'm just going to even this out over here. So this will make several big pieces of fudge.
If you wanted, you could even put this in little containers or go to your local bulk store, discount store, and buy little candy cups.
For your kids at school.
And you can put these in candy cups and serve them as desserts or you know, just treats if you wanted to make this for an event if you're having people over.
Actually, I should scratch that at school because there is nuts in it, and apparently there are a lot of issues with nuts these days, right, Althea?
Yes. So
this isn't recommended for school.
No, because we use peanut butter, we would never bring this into a school. So check with your child's school to see what nuts are even acceptable.
So now I'm going to put this in the freezer. It's about 7:30, and then it'll be done by about 9:30. So we'll have fudge tomorrow. And like I said, there's trace elements of caffeine in this. So you might, if you're very sensitive to caffeine, you might not want to have it too close to your bedtime. It might keep you awake. And the nuts we use, there's good fats, and like I said, you could use it. Althea said before, you could use any type of nuts, pine nuts, walnuts, cashews, almonds. But for cooking purposes, it's best to buy the crushed ones because for obvious reasons it's easier to blend. Anyway guys, I'm going to go clean up and watch my wife enjoy her dessert. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and any comments or questions, just add them below and we'll be glad to answer any questions.